Okay, so here's a short walk through my orchard. Let me start at the left side of the property. This is a Eureka lemon tree. It's doing pretty good. It was I planted it about a year ago, but it's actually more like 4 or 5 years old, I think. Let's walk past it a little bit here. I like this tree a lot, actually. It's one of my favorites. I picked a very privileged spot for it. It's one of the few spots in the yard that actually has sand instead of a mixture of clay and sand everywhere else. Citrus trees don't like clay too much, but they do much better in sand. Anyway, so these back here, this is a sour orange, Seville sour orange, newly planted this year. They're kind of small. I'd say they're maybe a year old or two possibly, but not very old, not much older than that. There's one, there's two. They came with fruits, but I removed them when I planted them in the ground. I didn't want the tree spending its energy trying to ripen fruits, and rather focus its energy on trying to spread out its root system, develop the branching and stuff that it needs to do well later on. Alright, so there's my dog, Murphy, playing with his toy as usual. Let's walk through the rest of the orchard. So we're about to approach an area that I call Peach Alley, or Stone Fruit Alley, I should say. There's a bunch of stone fruits in this section of the orchard. To your right here, just past that stump, is a Tananashi persimmon tree. A couple years old, I think. 1 or 2 years old. That came from Stark Brothers Nurseries in Louisiana, Missouri. Not too long ago, maybe about 8 months ago or 1 year ago. It's doing okay. It just came as a single stick. And all those branches you see, that's brand new. That's this year's growth. Okay, so here's where we get to the meat of the Stone Fruit Alley. This is a Harvester peach tree. It's dormant right now. I knocked out all the leaves recently to make sure that there were no leaves there, so I can spray it better in the spring, or I should say in late winter. This tree I have mixed feelings about. It's done really well here, but as you see, the other two right next to it are the same variety supposedly, but they haven't done so well. I don't know why that is. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But all these three trees here, these are supposedly have 750 chill hour requirements. I live in Central Florida, Zone 9B. We don't get anywhere near that kind of chill hour here. So I don't know if these trees are ever going to produce for me or not. But because I've already spent so much time and effort and energy into planting them and tending to them all these years, they've been in the ground like 3 years now, I'm not going to uproot them. I'm going to let them do what they're going to do, and then we'll see later on what we decide to do with it. Okay, so right here on to the left of that is another peach tree. This is a July Alberta peach. This came from Stark Brothers Nursery as well, and right next to it is another July Alberta. Interesting, this one was planted at the same time the other one was next to it. The one on the left was planted at the same time the one on the right was planted. The difference is the one on the left, I used very loose soil. So I took some of the sand and clay mixture that I have in my yard, and I added a lot of organic matter to it, a lot of it. So the soil was very loose, very pebbly, very grainy, and I think that allowed the roots to expand quickly and the tree get more established quicker, and I think that's why it's doing better. That's my hypothesis anyway. And yeah, let's move right along. This is another July Alberta peach. Next to it, behind there, that is actually a not a persimmon, that is an apricot, Royal Blenheim apricot. And right next to it, or right behind it, those two trees in the background to the left and to the right, those are also Royal Blenheim apricots. So these new trees here, these two new trees, these are just planted this year. These are Florida King peaches. They came from a local place called Tractor Supply. The trees themselves came from a nursery in Tennessee. So we'll see how they do. They're supposed to be, supposedly they're well adapted to this climate, this area, Central Florida, Zone 9B. So I have good hopes for them. We'll see if it turns out. We'll see how it works out. Behind them is a guava tree, Barbie pink guava. This is a Barbie pink guava that I picked up from a local nursery called Rockledge Gardens. Picked it up earlier this year. It's actually got done really well. It's not very big, but it's produced some really tasty guavas. Actually, there's one down there just about ready to ripen up. There's a big one you can see right there. See that? That's a new one there. And then down there, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. You can see that yellow thing right there. No, that's sorry, that's the leaf. Let me zoom out a bit here. You can see it just now on the side there. See it? That's the guava. It's about ripe actually. It's gonna be ready to be picked in a couple days. You ready? That's a different angle of it. Beautiful fruit actually. I like this guava a lot. There you see some smaller ones. Anyway, moving right along. This right here is a Everberry mulberry. This was gifted to me about a year ago. I'm not a big fan of mulberries. I haven't tossed it yet because I don't know what to do with it. The mulberries don't taste bad. They taste okay, but there's not a whole lot of them and they're kind of small. So some people like them a lot. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just gonna wait it out and see what happens. Let's see if as it gets bigger, the mulberries get bigger, and if it improves over time. This right here, my friends, is a day avocado. I'm looking forward to this baby. I like avocados, and this is a beautiful one. Very nice tree, grown really well. It's small, but it's grown really well. It's grown better than the other ones. I have some other avocados here. This one's actually grown, even though it's the smallest of the three, it's actually grown. It's shown the most growth this year. That right there is a Brogden avocado. That's a beautiful tree. Produces a avocado that actually turns purple when it's ripe, whereas the day actually doesn't turn any color. It stays green all the time. Alright, panning this way. This is a Joey avocado. Smaller than the Brogden, but also turns purple like the Brogden when it's ripened. That is a sugar apple. Right there off in the distance. Sugar apple tree. I've actually harvested a couple of sugar apples. I like this tree a lot. Very seedy fruit, but tastes good though. Up in the fence there are Lisbon lemons. These two are Lisbon lemon trees. They came from seed, believe it or not. Some lemons that I bought at the supermarket a couple years ago. Planted the seeds, and sure enough, they started growing. Believe it or not, those came from seeds. So I figured, why not? I'll put them in pots and let's let them do what they're going to do and see what happens. Alright, let's see here. What else do we got here? This is a Granny Smith apple tree in a pot. Also came from Stark Brothers Nurseries. That's a key lime tree. Behind it is another Eureka lemon. To the left here, these two citrus trees, these are actually Parson brown orange trees. Alright, let's move on here. Off in the distance behind this Eureka lemon, that is actually a Meyer lemon tree. Beautiful tree, not very big, but man, it has the most fragrant blossoms I've ever smelled. They're wonderful blossoms. They're beautiful, and they're very fragrant. They attract bees like crazy. Okay, as we move down here, you can see I'm walking down a row, and I have trees on either side of it. On the right, you'll see two Methley plum trees, one after the other. Then to the left, you'll see that on the left immediately is a Pink Lady apple tree, or Crips Pink, and behind that is a Fuji apple tree. And behind that is actually a tropic sweet apple tree, which is a derivative of Anna. I also have an Anna apple tree here. To the right, these are apriums. It's a hybrid between an apricot and a plum. 75% apricot, 25% plum. These came from Dave Wilson Nursery a few years ago. Slow growers, by the way, they don't do much. Either side here, you'll see Santa Rosa plum trees. Behind the Santa Rosa on the right is actually a cherry tree, believe it or not. This is a Lappin's cherry. I don't have a lot of hope for this tree. I'm not so sure that it's going to make it in this area, but so far it hasn't died, and it's actually did show some growth the first couple of years, but lately it's kind of stunted itself. It hasn't done much more after that. To the left here, this is a Gala apple tree, dormant right now. Okay, to the left behind the Gala are two Alfonso mango trees. These bad boys have been here for at least 2 or 3 years, and they just haven't been growing much. I don't know what's going on with them. We'll just leave them there, see what happens. This is a Hosui pear tree on the right. The little small one's a Hosui pear, also from Stark Brothers Nursery. And in the back there is another pear tree, but that is a hood pear. And it came from a local nursery called Rockledge Gardens, same place I got the Barbie pink guava from. And then let's pan this way a little bit here. That big tree right there, that is a Ruby Supreme guava tree. That has been with me for about 4 or 5 years now. Done really well. It's growing really well. I'm having problems with fruit flies though. They attack this tree's fruits a lot. I don't know what to do to get rid of them though. I'm hoping that a really cold stint of weather will actually kill them, and I won't have to worry about them anymore. But we'll see. Damn fruit flies, the bane of my existence. Right there, that is a Tangelo tree. That's a Tangelo tree. That is another Tangelo tree. That tall one there. That tall one, that's tall skinny one, that's actually a Kiefer pear. Off in the distance, you'll see the ones with the leaves on them. Those are actually Bartlett pears. And then behind that, those two Bartletts is another Kiefer. These all came from Tractor Supply, by the way. At the same time, I bought them at the same time I purchased those Florida King peaches. This right here is a hood pear, another hood pear. Behind that, off in the distance there, that is a Florida Home pear tree. And then to the left of that, that is a Baldwin pear tree. The Baldwin and the Florida Home, this small Florida Home are not doing really good. I don't know what's going on with them. I rather suspect they're going to die eventually. And I'll have to replace them, we'll see. Off in the distance behind this Kiefer pear is another pear tree. That is another Florida Home, although this one's doing much better. This one came bigger from, and it was also, I also purchased it locally from Rockledge Gardens. This tree has actually put on new growth. You can see the new wood this year. It's actually done pretty well. I'm happy with it. Off in the distance is another Seville Sour Orange. This one is not done very well. I don't think the rootstock that it's grafted to likes the soil very much, or the soil that it's planted in. But it's going to stay there. Either it dies or it survives. I don't know what's going to happen yet. We'll see. Behind that tree, that is another Santa Rosa plum. I'm going to remove it from there eventually and plant it somewhere near the other Santa Rosas. And on the other side of that fence, that little tree right there, that is a plum cot. No, spring satin plum cot. That's what it's called. Came from Stark Brothers Nursery. I don't know what's gonna happen with this one. Let's see. But in the front yard, doing this over the gate here, you can see that tree right there in the front yard. That is a Abertina olive tree. It's a beautiful tree. Even if it doesn't produce any fruit, it's actually a very, very beautiful tree. I like it a lot. Anyway, moving right along. Hey Murphy, how are you, buddy? You want to hang out with your dad? Is that it? You want to be with your dad? I like you too, Papa. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy, Murphy. You are such a good dog. You are such a good dog. You are such an affectionate animal. I can't believe they left you at the pound. Who would do such a thing? Man, they don't know what they're missing. Such a good dog. Alright, so let's move on to the rest of the orchard here. That's another Tangelo tree, by the way. And this is grafted onto dwarfing rootstock. So this is a good tree, actually. It's produced some really good fruit this year. Alright, so let's go here and finish what we were started. So you've already seen that Tangelo right here. You've seen this Tangelo. You've seen that Tangelo off in the distance. This is another one of those lemon trees, by the way, that came from seed. Alright, so I've already showed you that row over there. So I'm going to show you this row here and this row here. This is a Santa Rosa plum. This right here, that right there, is actually a Golden Delicious apple tree. As we walk through, I'll describe the fruit trees to you one by one. On the right is a Dorset Golden apple tree, and approaching on the left here is a Star King Delicious plum tree. To the right of that Star King Delicious is an Anna apple tree. This is my Anna apple tree. This is a very vigorous grower, by the way. The tree is very fast growing, and it just sprouts leaves and limbs all over the place. So this is actually a good apple tree to have if you're in a low chill environment. Alright, so on the left here we have another Star King Delicious. On the right of that you'll see a Glen Mango tree. To the left of it again, this is a Shiro plum. It's a yellow plum, Shiro plum, also from Stark Brothers Nurseries. Those two Star King Delicious that we just walked past, those also came from Stark Brothers. So on the right here, this is another Glen Mango. Okay, on the left here is another Star King Delicious. And that little guy off in the distance right there, that is a Kent Mango. I had one of these trees when I was growing up in South Florida, and I like them a lot, so I bought a Kent. I kept it in my yard. I planted it in my yard. I'll see what happens with it. These trees grow very large. They produce very large fruit, and they produce abundant fruit. I'm not going to let it get too big because it can be a problem with its size. So I'm going to be pruning it back every year to make sure it stays small. Alright, so what else do we got here? This guy right here, this is a Mamey Sapote. It's a tropical fruit tree, native to Central America. There is some doubt as to whether this thing can survive the temperatures in this area. It doesn't get very cold here, but it gets cold enough to cause problems for this tree, I think. But I wanted to take a chance anyway. I've heard people say that they've been able to grow it in Orlando, Florida. So I'm close to Orlando. I'm near the same latitude. I think I should be okay, but we'll see. That in the distance right there, that is a Braeburn apple tree. That's a Braeburn. Beautiful tree. Very aggressive grower too. Just like the Anna apple. This tree came as, I planted it a year ago. It came as one single stick. And all those branches that you see, that's all 1 year's growth. It's amazing how fast this tree has progressed. I'm really happy with this one. This right here is a Arkansas black apple tree. It's an heirloom apple tree. For some reason, heirloom apples don't grow very fast. It's grown, but it's a slow grower. We'll see what happens with it. Okay, this little guy right here, this is another Spring Satin Plumcot, also from Stark Brothers Nurseries. Okay. That stick right there, that is a Hosui pear tree, also from Stark Brothers. This little guy, this is a Ishike Jiro persimmon tree. It's a grafted onto dwarfing rootstock. I thought this had died earlier in the year, and as it turned out, it sprouted another branch and came back to life. So I didn't uproot it, I just left it there, and we'll see what happens. It might still die, I don't know, but so far it looks okay. That's another Hosui pear tree, also from Stark Brothers. This right here, this guy right here, that is a Stark Spur Arkansas black apple tree from Stark Brothers Nursery. It's a spur type apple tree. This right here, this fig tree, this is an LSU purple fig, also from Stark Brothers. That fig right there, that is an LSU Gold, also from Stark Brothers. That little guy, that is a Shinseki apple tree. Sorry, Shinseki pear tree. I'm getting tired of all these trees. I'm getting tired of talking. Alright, so what do we got here? This is another lemon from seed. Not too keen on this one. Looks like it's not doing too well. We'll see what happens. These in the pots. This row in the pot, these are citrus trees. This one is a Dancy tangerine. Behind it is a Hamlin orange tree. Okay, that one with the flowers, that's a Hamlin orange tree right there. Then the one next to it, that is a navel orange. Okay, the one next to that, let me zoom out a little bit, that is a Valencia orange tree. And behind that is a Celeste fig tree. And behind the Celeste fig, that little guy right there, that is actually another Shinseki pear tree, also from Stark Brothers. So let's see, let's back out here. Oh, forgot that one against the wall. That one against the wall, that is a soursop or a guanabana tree. Not doing too well because it's cold, but I think it's gonna be okay. It's just dropping its leaves because of the cold weather. Alrighty, moving right along. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I forgot to mention, next to this LSU Gold is another Dancy tangerine tree planted in the ground. This one's doing okay. It's actually got a piece of fruit on there. You can see I left it there because it hasn't fully ripened yet. There it is. That is a Dancy tangerine. Read them and weep, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is just a flowering tree. This is a gardenia. My mom likes them. I don't care for them too much, but my mom likes them so. And then behind all these guys, oh, this is these two citrus trees. These came from seed as well, from a Lisbon lemon tree, Lisbon lemon seeds. This guy right here, this is a seedling from one of the Kent mango trees that I have in South Florida. Visited my dad. He still has the tree in his yard and brought home some mangoes, and obviously we ate them and enjoyed them. But I planted some of the seeds and one of them sprouted and started growing. This is one of those seedlings. I have no idea whether this is going to produce good fruit or not, because mangoes, like apples, have lots of genetic material in the seeds, so they do not grow true to form. If it doesn't come out good, the fruit it produces, I can always top graft it and put a different variety on the trunks. That's probably what I'll end up doing anyway. This is a Glen Navel. This came from a place up in Tallahassee. It was doing better this year. Now it's not doing so well. It's dropping its leaves. I'm guessing it's because of cold weather. We'll wait and see. Anyway, that is a short synopsis of my orchard. Just pan out a little bit so you can see it again. I have a half-acre lot here. I would say there's probably close to 80 trees or more in my home orchard. They're planted about 8 to 10 feet apart, no less than 8 to 10 feet apart. Some of them are actually 12 to 15 feet apart, depending on when I planted them. Uh-oh, Murphy's going apeshit. He sees something or someone. Let's see what he does. He's something else. Alright folks, signing off. Happy New Year. Bye.